What's up, everybody? My name is George. I want to welcome you to my channel, Rhyme Rate. Thank you to everybody that has joined this channel thus far. I'm at about 5,200 subscribers. That's amazing. I haven't put one damn video out, and I'm late based off of when I told you that I was going to start this channel, and yet you guys are still here. I appreciate the love, man. Not only just via the subs, man, but the just the emails that you guys have sent us on the Lost in Vegas channel, the DMs that we've received on Defter Radio, which is affiliated with Lost in Vegas. It's been a lot of love and encouragement, man, and that is so needed when you are starting a new venture. And, just to get that sort of baseline level of support is awesome. So, again, thank you so much for the people who have already subscribed to the channel. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. Why did I start the channel? A few different reasons. Myself and Ryan just have had difficulty meeting up. The start of this channel does not mean the end of Lost in Vegas. I want to make that clear. It just means that I'm going to give you guys additional content. We felt the push a little bit from the hip hop heads, in America. Even a lot of our African subs, have pushed us like, yeah, we want more hip hop content. And that's just our comfort zone. Myself and Ryan, it's just our comfort zone. I'm a hip hop baby. I grew up in the 90s. I'm saying? I want to age myself. Grew up in the 90s, have always had a love affair with hip hop, man. It's just my makeup. I'm not a fan. I'm just of it. You know what I mean? So it was just a natural progression for me to do specifically hip hop. It's just difficult I would love to have like a wider range of music to touch and genres to kind of talk about, but it's very difficult to satisfy multiple demographics. That's what I realized when we were doing Lost in Vegas, just trying to satisfy the metal heads and the rock heads and the hip hop heads. It's just too much. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to just niche it out, do what I do. Hip hop. It's what I'm familiar with. It's what I know. So that's, why I'm here with only hip hop. So the scheduling with Ryan is one reason. Another reason is because I've seen a complete degradation of hip hop discourse the last few years. Yes, the Kendrick and Drake battle has contributed to it, but even before the Kendrick and Drake battle has seemed to make everyone pick a side. I've seen just a division between old school hip hop heads and new school. I feel like I can be a bridge. I feel like I can like Public Enemy, and I can like something that Travis Scott does. You know what I'm saying? I can appreciate Future, and I can also appreciate a Tribe Called Quest. I grew up on, the 90s is the 90s. Nothing, just so I want to make it clear that that's my era. Hove, Nas, Big, and Tribe, and Outkast, and all that, that's my era. But that doesn't mean I don't have love for what has happened, post that era. So I feel like I'm a great bridge. I can be a great bridge for a wider scope of hip hop appreciation. Because I feel like what I've seen on X and on YouTube, it has just been, it's either people are too young to appreciate things that are older or too old to appreciate things that are newer. And I think that hip hop and YouTube and X can use more people like me, can use more bridges. I think that YouTubers, I feel like from what I've seen, and it's not to name names, I'm not going to hate on anybody, but I've seen a lot of people just follow trends. I've seen a lot of people, I'll see like a comment on X, it'll get some momentum, and I'll just see everybody on YouTube using that rhetoric. It's the same thing, the same regurgitated talking points parroted from a lot of kids on YouTube, a lot of people on YouTube, and I just feel like I'm not seeing a lot of original thought, original thinking, because I think people are scared. Everyone's tiptoeing around after the Drake and Kendrick battle. No one wants to sacrifice their monetization, and I get it. I'm not trying to knock anyone's hustle, but I do feel like it's created this sort of weird vacuum that we're in. Let's talk about legacy media outlets. Post the Kendrick and Drake battle, I've seen a lot of legacy media outlets that had some sort of weird vendetta, and I'm gonna keep it real. This isn't a Drake the Drake defense channel, but I got to keep it real. I've seen a lot of legacy media outlets, man, with some sort of weird vendetta against Drake, use that battle with Kendrick to get whatever hatred or whatever, revenge that they wanted to get out. They got it out during that time. Some of those legacy media outlets have been disbanded. Some of them still exist, but I feel like there was just a level of bias within that world as well. Let's talk about some of the hip hop podcasts that are out. These hip hop podcasts, we'll talk about rappers that have become podcasters. Shout out to Joe Budden. Shout out to Cameron and Mace and Fat Joe and Jada, Noriega, who's been doing Drink Champs for forever. Shout out to all of them. I love what they bring to the table. But if I'm being honest, I feel like when I watch those podcasts, I feel like I'm not getting a raw, unfiltered opinion. I feel like I'm getting a tiptoed around opinion that feels like they don't want to ruin industry relationships. So you could just see the energy shift when certain names come up. You could just see that they're not giving you, yo, I'm chilling with you without the cameras on, and this is what I think type of opinions. So I feel like I got to the point, what really like moved me and motivated me to start this channel. I feel like I got to a point where I was like, where can I go now to get truth? Like I used to be able to talk to my boys, but guess what? I'm grown now. Everybody's got families and everything. So it's like, you can't, it's different now with your friends, right? As you get older, the barbershops, all that's changed, right? So now it seems like online is where I feel like, a lot of the discourse is. And I'm like, well, either people are too old or too young. They're too hood or they're too corny. There's a lot of people who are not of it that have hip hop content channels. They're not of it. What I mean by of it is they didn't grow up where hip hop comes from. They grew up as fans and they started channels as a result of that. I'm not knocking anyone's hustle. I'm not saying that they don't have a right to have an opinion and they can't bring valuable insight. But it is different when you hear somebody who's of it and who's not of it. And I see a lot of people just that have sort of infiltrated this space that are really, really handy and really good with, editing and they're just savvy with the internet and editing. So they were able to kind of infiltrate this space and kind of get popping. And, and I just feel like we're not getting enough representation of people who are really just from it. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, my life is hip hop. I can't avoid being hip hop. So I feel like I'm just needed. I feel like people like me are just needed. I'm not too hood, I come from that. But, I've maneuvered in various circles throughout my entire life, whether it's the corporate world or whether it's on a block, But I just feel like we don't have enough of me, people who I feel like I could okay, he's from it, but he's articulate enough to kind of get his point across without coming off ignorant. He's not corny like some of these dudes that really act like they're hip hop heads, but they don't know what's up. I feel like I can be a very nice bridge for a lot of you. And I feel like, again, I want people to come to this channel and say, yo, finally somebody has something real to say. You know what I mean? Finally someone, or at least you get that feeling that that person's being honest. You get the feeling that, okay, they're really trying to see things from different perspectives, right? I want this channel to be like, I can see it. Even if you disagree with me, even if you say you bugging, Giorgio, you bugging. How could you have that opinion? How could you think this song is trash? I want you to feel like, yo, he's at least trying. He's trying to say, this is the good about it. This is the bad about it. You know what I mean? Or this is what I think is good. This is what I think is bad. This is what, what I'm expecting, what I would like moving forward, yada, yada, yada. So I want you guys to look at this channel as sort of, I don't know, an oasis of truth. You come here, you get the bullshit from the people who are going to jump around the room and yell and scream and do goofy nonsense. And then you come here and you get something real. That's what I want for this channel. And that's about it, guys. I'm excited about, this new venture. I mean, I want what you guys can expect, as I believe I mentioned, is reactions. You can expect potentially album reviews. You can expect commentary regarding hip hop. I want to be a part of all that. I want to throw my hat in the ring, man. We're going to have some fun, man. We're going to talk. And I'm excited, and I want you guys, I'm going to be, putting on my Instagram information, TikTok info. I'm going to get the TikTok channel going, and I'll put clips on TikTok. So join me on those platforms when I put the information in the description here. But yeah, man, I'm ready for this, man. I'm ready for us to have some fun, and we'll be talking soon, man. I might come back with a reaction or some comment. We'll see. I'm working everything out. Also, bear with me as well with the aesthetics. Bear with me. I'm just getting used to being alone and talking. So it's let me get adjusted and adapt. But other than that, man, thanks again. Thank you to everyone that's joined this channel thus far. I appreciate the love and support. I'll be seeing y'all soon. This is George with Rhyme Rate. I'm out.